Hi everyone, how's it going? Welcome to our home learning program. Today I'm going to talk about states and territories of Australia. So, let's get started. Australia, officially the Commonwealth of Australia, is a sovereign country comprising the mainland of the Australian continent, the island of Tasmania, and several smaller islands. It is the largest country in Oceania and the world's sixth largest country by total area. The population of 26 million is highly urbanized and heavily concentrated on the eastern seaboard. The capital of the country is Canberra, and its largest city is Sydney. Its current Prime Minister is Scott Morrison. The Australian system of government combines elements derived from the political systems of the United Kingdom and the United States along with distinctive ingenious features. Before I continue my explanation, you might be wondering, so what's the difference between the states and territories? Well, the main difference lies between the governing powers of the states and territories, and this division was made to help with administration. The Australian states were separate even before Australia's federal government was created, so the states have their own state governments, whereas territories are under the control of the federal governments. Now, let's visit the states and territories one by one, shall we? Our first stop is New South Wales. It is Australia's oldest state, which is located on the east coast of Australia. It borders Queensland to the north, Victoria to the south, and South Australia to the west. Its coast borders the Coral and Tasman Seas to the east. The Australian Capital Territory is an enclave within the state. The state capital is Sydney, which is also Australia's most populous city. In March 2019, the population of New South Wales was over 8 million, making it Australia's most populous state. Just under two-thirds of the state's population, 5.1 million, live in the Greater Sydney area. Next stop, Queensland. It is the second largest in size and third most populous Australian state. It is a federated state and a parliamentary constitutional monarchy. Situated in the northeast of the country, it is bordered by the Northern Territory, South Australia, and New South Wales to the west, southwest, and south respectively. To the east, Queensland is bordered by the Coral Sea and Pacific Ocean. To its north is the Torres Strait, separating the Australian mainland from Papua New Guinea. Due to its size, Queensland's geographical features and climates are diverse, including tropical rainforests, rivers, coral reefs, mountain ranges, and sandy beaches in its tropical and subtropical coastal regions. Queensland has a population of over 5.1 million, concentrated along the coast and particularly in southeast Queensland. The capital and the largest city in the state is Brisbane, which is also Australia's third largest city. The state's population is multicultural, with 28.9% of inhabitants being immigrants. The next one is South Australia. South Australia is a state in the southern central part of Australia. It covers some of the most arid parts of the country. It is the fourth largest of Australia's states and territories by area and fifth largest by population. It has a total of 1.76 million people, and its population is the second most highly centralized in Australia after Western Australia, with more than 77% of South Australians living in the capital, Adelaide. South Australia shares borders with all the other mainland states and with the Northern Territory. The state comprises less than 8% of the Australian population and ranks 5th in population among the 6 states and 2 territories. Tasmania is an island state and is the smallest state of Australia. It is located 240 kilometers to the south of the Australian mainland, separated by Bass Strait. The state encompasses the main island of Tasmania, the 26th largest island in the world, and the surrounding 334 islands. The state has a population of about 537,000 as of December 2019. Just more than 40% of the population resides in the Greater Hobart Precinct, which forms the metropolitan area of the state capital and largest city, Hobart. It is promoted as a natural state, and protected areas of Tasmania covers about 42% of its land area, which includes national parks and World Heritage Sites. Tasmania was the founding place of the first environmental political party in the world. The 5th state is Victoria. Victoria is the second most populated state of Australia. It is also the second smallest state by land and is a parliamentary constitutional monarchy. Situated in the southeast of Australia, Victoria is bordered by the Bass Strait and Tasmania to the south, New South Wales to the north, the Tasman Sea to the east, and South Australia to the west. Victoria has a population of over 6.6 million, the majority of which is concentrated in the area surrounding Port Phillip Bay, and in particular in the metropolitan area of the state capital and largest city, Melbourne, which is Australia's second largest city. The population is diverse, with 35.1% of inhabitants being immigrants. The last state is Western Australia. It is a state occupying the western 32.9% of the land area of Australia, excluding external territories. It is bounded by the Indian Ocean to the north and west, and the Southern Ocean to the south, the Northern Territory to the northeast, and South Australia to the southeast. Western Australia is Australia's largest state and the second largest country subdivision in the world. The state has about 2.6 million inhabitants, around 11% of the national total, of whom the vast majority live in the southwest corner. 79% of the population living in Perth, the capital of the state, leaving the remainder of the state sparsely populated. Now let's go to the territories. The first one is the Australian Capital Territory. It is a federal territory of Australia containing the Australian capital city of Canberra and some surrounding townships. It is in the southeast of the country and is an enclave within the state of New South Wales. Founded after federation as the seat of government for the new nation, all important institutions of the Australian government are headquartered in the territory. On January 1st, 1901, Federation of the Colonies of Australia was achieved. Section 125 of the new Australian Constitution provided that land situated in the New South Wales and at least 160 kilometers from Sydney would be ceded to the new federal government. Following discussion and exploration of various areas within New South Wales, the Seat of Government Act 1908 was passed in 1908, which specified a capital in the East Canberra region. The territory was transferred to the federal government by New South Wales in 1911, 2 years prior to the capital city being founded and formally named as Canberra in 1913. The last but not least is the Northern Territory. It is an Australian territory in the central and central northern regions of Australia. It shares borders with Western Australia to the west, South Australia to the south, and Queensland to the east. The Northern Territory is the third largest Australian federal division and is the 11th largest country subdivision in the world. The capital is Darwin and has Alice Springs as its principal inland town. Alice Springs is the physical heart of Australia, almost exactly at the nation's geographic center. The Northern Territory is home to the famous Kakadu National Park. Well, that's it for today. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you learned something today. So I'll see you in the next one. Bye.